Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. Hope everybody's staying safe out there. I'm sure everybody's trying to do their best and play their part by staying inside, trying to slow the spread of the, people know that's the COVID-19. And with that being said, there's some things out there, there's, free delivery from DoorDash, Grubhub's offering free delivery. A lot of restaurants are doing their part by doing the pickup and things. And I just want to go out and go to the store, but I'm stuck. Lexi's found me some times where I've had all the cars and I decided to turn them around. Instead of having them face this way, I decided to have them face this way, facing out of the driveway. And it was probably my way of just moving the cars, drives to go to do something. But like I said, I wanted to cover the main factors because right now dealerships are doing something which I see could be potentially harmful towards the economy moving forward, and one of which is the deferred payments. All right, Chevrolet is doing theirs for 4 months. Ford's doing the program for, I believe, it's 3 months of no payments, and then they'll make 3 payments for basically for you. Then there's BMW offered, I know they sent an email and they offered 90 days no payments, and obviously online you do a set up test drive and they'll deliver the car. And like I said, these can be appealing, but right now they're targeting people who are temporarily without a job, and they're just telling them right now, hey, it's okay, don't worry, if you can't make your payment, we can cover you, we can spot you the money right now, don't make anything, don't worry about it, and then once you return to work, everything's restarted. But right now we're in uncharted waters. Nobody really knows what this virus can look like 4 months down the road. I don't think, if you're out of work, you should probably think twice before you get into a before taking on a car loan, because you don't know what it's gonna be like. You don't know if your employer decides to say, hey, you know what, we need to get business back on usual. Instead of being a temporary layoff, it's gonna be a permanent. But what happens now? You acquired a car loan, and now this car loan is now sitting over your head, and you're struggling to make ends meet. And you're trying to decide if you should eat food or you should make a car payment. You don't want to be in a situation like this. The manufacturers, they're looking out for them. They're looking out for their best interests. They're trying to make sure they get a paycheck, that the CEOs get their paycheck. I think right now, if you were to get a car, and let's say, for example, the average cost of a car these days is around $30,000 for 2020. So you get a $30,000 car, and this $30,000 car now is going to cost you about $34,000, $35,000, depending on if you don't put any money down, and the taxes and fees are adding on to the loan. All right, now you've added on all this money, you took on this car loan, you're anticipating going to work, and then now your employer decides to either extend your layoff or just make sure, hey, you know what, to give you a service package and then say you're done. Now what do? You have a car payment, this car you just bought, and you're just sitting on this thing. You say, you know what, don't worry, I'll sell it. Well, you're trying to sell a 2020 car that has already registered, so now it's considered used. You can't sell it as a new car. Its warranty has already been activated, so now it's running out of warranty. And then you've already put miles on it. Now, even if the car stays parked in the garage the whole time, and you don't put 90 miles into the dealership, that car is considered used. You still have to sell it, and it still hurts the resale value. You're gonna be upside down because you remember you've added on $3,000, $4,000, or $5,000 onto the price of the car by either added extended warranties or things like that, and you put yourself in a situation where it's hard to sell it. You have to get your money back. You're gonna sell that car for at least $35,000. No one's gonna pay more than that when manufacturers are offering the car for $30,000 or less. So selling a car within the first year is bad. And like I said, I've seen these other terms where they're saying they're like GM is doing, and I think Ford is doing the same thing, where there's 0% financing for 84 months. And 84 months is way too long to pay for a car. You should not pay for a car for 84 months. I got a visitor. Come here. So 84 months is too long. Come here. All right, you don't want to go? All right, bye. That was Oliver. Hold on. So 84 months is way too long to go on a car loan. You got to think about it like this: if you had to spread the payments out that far, you should only do it if you're gonna plan to pay more on it per month. If you're planning to pay more than the minimum payment, then that's great, because that gives yourself a flexibility. I know people do it for this reason. It gives them flexibility for saying, hey, you know what, there may be a month or two where I need to make the bare minimum, and you have that. That's great. But if you're doing it solely for affordability purposes, to stretch the payment out that far to afford a car that may be harder to reach, then it's probably a car you probably shouldn't be buying. You could be overspending, and doing that plus deferred payment is just going to, I think right now is going to cause more harm than good. You know, I'm afraid to say it, but we could be looking at an increase in repossessions later if people don't play their cards right. I know personally, I wouldn't buy a car if I didn't have a job, or if I wasn't currently bringing in any income. You know, you just got to think about that. I think there are situations where buying a car during this time could help you. If you're working, if you're an essential worker and you have to work, that means you're still getting a decent, you're still getting an income, you're still getting a check. If you need to buy a car, right now is a good time, best time to negotiate, because these manufacturers are hurting. They're hurting for sales. They want people like us to buy, and we can negotiate. We can pretty like nickel and dime them down. I would say you should be able to get a car right now at invoice or below, unless it's like a high demand car like the new 2020 Corvette, because that car is still in high demand now. But any get a car now, you should be able to get invoice or below. There should be really good deals going on, so recommend doing that. I think at this point, I think everybody just needs to reevaluate the situation, think twice. You know, like, I mean, I understand times are tough. No, I mean, things are tough for everybody. But if you don't read the fine print on these things, it can be bad. Like I said, you know, I've seen mortgage companies, you can defer your payment for 12 months. You don't want to do that, because your mortgage is still going to accrue interest. And if you read the fine print, some of them are like a forbearance, which means like the mortgage payments just stop. And they defer, but you're accumulating them, but you just don't make a payment. But then once it's time to restart them, they're going to ask for that money that you didn't make all the way back. So if you made zero payment from that time, they're going to want all that money back at one point. So you got to do that. If you bought a car, that's money that you have to come up front. The manufacturers I'm targeting more because they're doing it to help them. They're not doing it to help you. Even though it's appealing, it looks like it'll help you, it's to help them. And what it means is they want, the sales are down, they want you to buy, everybody's scared, they want you to buy a car. Can you sell the car back to them when you're done? So a good incentive would be a refund. Offer something like, instead of deferred payments, how about a grace period of 6 months? You make your payments, and then, for example, if you're out of work within 6 months, they should buy the car back from you. That would be a good one. Buy the car back, full refund, buy the car back. Obviously give them a mileage cap of like 5,000 miles or so, but buy the car back for you, no questions asked. And then at that point, you should be able to buy a car. That would be a good incentive. But all right, guys, that's what I wanted to cover, mainly that. I'm sitting here in the house right now. It is my day off, and I can't go anywhere. So I'm just doing things to the M3, getting it ready for when I can drive it. I'm missing out on a track day this upcoming weekend. I was supposed to go to Thunder Hill, and I won't be going. But like I said, I'm sure that people out there in a lot worse situations. I shouldn't be complaining at all. Just take my advice, guys. And if you haven't already, watch my car buying series of how to buy a car. All right, guys, stay safe, take care. See you next video.